Lesson 2.4, Rate Problem Solving. Yesterday we learned about rates and unit rates. Today we're problem solving with those things. I can solve problems using equivalent rates and unit rates is our target for the day. And our vocab is a word you should know. Equivalent fractions, two or more fractions that represent the same value, like 1/2 and 2/4 are equivalent fractions because they both can simplify down to 1/2. Since ratios and rates can be written as fractions, they can also be written in many equivalent forms. We noticed that when we're finding our ratios in simplest form. Well, that's because you can write them as fractions, and they have very similar functions to fractions. Rates are the same way. We noticed that yesterday when we were doing writing them as fractions to find out their unit rates. We use the whole what you do to the bottom, you do to the top rule, and you find the missing part of a rate the same way you would find the missing part in equivalent fractions. Solving problems involving rates. First step, when you are using equivalent fractions, write two rates with equal signs between them, then find out what you need to multiply the numerator or denominator by to finish the new equivalent fraction. This is what we've been doing with conversions and unit rates already, so there's nothing new here. It's exactly what we did yesterday, only just written down. Using unit rates, find the unit rate for the rate we know, and then multiply the unit rate by the amount that we know. So there's two ways to solve problems using involving rates. We can just go straight from one fraction to the other, but if we can't do that, we might use a unit rate. Take it down to its simplest form and then multiply it back up. So let's look at this one. Complete the equivalent rate. 24 miles per 1 gallon equals how many miles per 6 gallons? We're starting with a unit rate and going to a non-unit rate. So how are we going to go from 1 gallon to 6 gallon? Looking at the denominators or bottom numbers, how can we go from 1 to 6? What can we multiply by? And then whatever we do to the bottom, we must do to the top. In this case, we're going to multiply by 6, since that's how we go from 1 to 6. 24 times 6 is 144. That means they went 144 miles for 6 gallons. Not the best mileage rate, but it'll do in a pinch. Let's find another one. Complete the equivalent rate. $6 for 4 liters is the same as how many dollars for 32 liters? What do we need to multiply 4 by to get 32? Can we multiply 4 by something to get 32? In this case, yes. And we're going to be multiplying by 8. To go from 4 liters to 32 liters, we multiply by 8. And since what we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top, 6 times 8 is 48. $42 for 32 liters.